Blas versus Court of Appeals, GR number 82813. Facts of the case. Petitioner Emilia Blas was a lessee of the Premier Theatre building, which was owned by Alfonso Bichara. Petitioner's contract of lease with Bichara gave her the right to sublease the premises and was originally effective for a period of 5 years from January 1, 1980 to December 31, 1984. Petitioner Blas in turn entered into an oral contract with the private respondent, Arthur Yao, subletting the latter a portion of the premises. On March 27, 1985, Bichara wrote respondent Yao informing the latter that since the contract of lease between Bichara and the petitioner Blas had expired on December 31, 1984, the rental due from respondent Yao and accruing from January 1985 and thereafter were to be paid to Bichara. Bichara then filed an ejectment suit against petitioner Blas before the MTC. The MTC rendered a decision dated November 11, 1985, extending the petitioner's Blas lease contract with Bichara for another 5 years, counting from January 1, 1985 up to December 31, 1989. Upon appeal by Bichara, the RTC affirmed the decision of the lower court, and that decision became final and executory on July 2, 1986. Blas then demanded that Respondent Yao pay to her the accrued sublease rentals. Respondent Yao, however, continued to remit his sublease rentals directly to lessor Bichara. In a letter dated February 7, 1987, petitioner demanded that the Respondent Yao pay the accrued rentals pertaining to the portion of the premise originally subleased to him, which led to an ejectment suit against Yao. Yao argued that he was not defaulted on the payment of sublease rentals, since he had been paying the same to the lessor Bichara, who in turn was crediting petitioner with the amounts thereof. Issue of the case: whether or not respondent Yao had incurred default in the payment of sublease rentals. The court held Yao was in default. In a sublease arrangement, there are two distinct leases involved, the principal lease and the sublease. There are two juridical relationships which coexist here and are intimately related to each other, but distinct from one another. The payment by sublessee Yao to lessor Bichara was not payment to the petitioner's sublessor Blas. Bichara was a stranger to the relationship between sublessor Blas and respondent sublessee Yao. Respondent Yao was not entitled to ignore the rights of petitioner Blas. He had no right or authority to pay the sublease rentals to lessor Bichara, the said rentals being due and payable to sublessor Blas. We conclude that respondent Yao was in default vis-a-vis the petitioner Blas in the matter of payment of the sublease rentals, and that accordingly, petitioner was entitled to terminate the sublease agreement for failure of respondent Yao to pay the sublease rentals due.